All right, so I had this idea. I want to bring back some of, Clark and I have some fantastic,
Old takes that you guys have never heard before because we weren't doing this,
right, that
15,
we
15, 20 years ago.
things that we've come up with over the years. Because basically, this podcast, just so you guys know, is basically just us having a phone conversation. This is what we do when we talk on
Pretty
the
much, yeah.
phone. So now we've just kind of organized it into this format. So,
Yeah.
one of my favorite takes of all time is our take on the New England Patriots. So for years, Tom Brady has dealt with substandard receivers. Okay,
Danny Woodhead,
right? Yes, a
Julian
bunch.
Edelman, who was a quarterback.
Right, Julian Edelman was a quarterback. They picked up Danny Amendola. Um, but Chris Hogan.
Right.
Um, several receivers who I don't or who
It
are
feels like he's just kind of Belichick, just kind of he's like, all right, I got to draft people. All right, let me get in the car, and then he just drives out to like a lacrosse field somewhere outside of Foxborough, Massachusetts, and it's just like that guy looks good. Hey, can you run? Yeah. Can you throw? All right. Or can you catch? All right. Yeah. Come on.
So I think we came up with this after I think Gronkowski got hurt or Gronkowski. It was like going to be his last year or something like that. Is I think is the time we came up with this. So basically, our theory was that Bill Belichick over the years has gotten increasingly arrogant and believes that he can
He's so
fix.
good.
Yep,
Yeah.
he's so good that he can fix anything. So he literally is purposely trying to make it more difficult by not giving Brady any receivers and drafting 5'10" white lacrosse players. Um, as
It'd be like if you or I were trying to beat Tecmo to go undefeated in Tecmo Bowl blindfolded or something.
right,
Like one hand on the controller or something. Like,
right.
like let's just make this ridiculously hard just for the hell of it.
He just was like, you know what? I've won 6 Super Bowls. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to screw around. I'm just going to make it more difficult, and nobody else can stop because he has full control of everything. He can choose. He can do whatever he wants with the front office, so he has nobody to answer to. So he's like, all right, well, I'll just keep making it more difficult. So it went from Randy Moss and Wes Welker to Julian Edelman and Danny Woodhead
Well,
to
this has been going back because remember, okay, because first of all, when they won the first three, right? And even those teams, you had Troy Brown and
Deion
David
Branch and
Patton and like Deion Branch at least, like I remember they got rid of him and then he went to Seattle and he was productive.
yeah,
A lot of the other guys, like you didn't really hear anything from them after they left.
yeah,
So
Givens and Patton and
yeah, right. And then remember after they won the second Super Bowl and the third Super Bowl, that next year Brady had all these guys who just wouldn't get, they couldn't get open, they couldn't get any separation. He was
right,
kind
Riche Caldwell and
Yeah, it was like a couple years of that, and then they brought in Randy Moss and Wes Welker, and then they drafted, then they got those tight ends. They got Hernandez and Gronkowski, who at least were kind of a matchup. That's our criticism basically. It didn't seem like they ever got really any matchup nightmares on offense. So it's like, how the hell is Brady doing this? Like he's just,
so every year, and this happens every year in the draft, the Patriots, their pick comes up in the first round and they trade down. They don't bother getting a great blue chip talent. What they do is, and this happened in the 2020 draft, which I thought was absolutely hysterically funny. They traded down out of the first round, out of the second round, and they drafted a Division II linebacker from a school called Lenore Ryan. And to me, that crystallized exactly what we're talking about with the Patriots. No, you know what? I'm just going to challenge. I got to find another challenge because I just keep winning Super Bowls. So I'm going to just screw around and challenge myself some more. And that's what the Patriots do. And the thing is, they could get away with it because they had Tom Brady.
yeah.
So it didn't even matter. It's just he's just kind of messing around with it. So I just thought, when we came up with this on the phone, I just died laughing. I thought it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Just another great take that I thought of that we had was one year when the Denver Nuggets
Yeah,
in
this was like what was it, 08 or
yeah,
09?
08,
They were
09.
the Lakers in the conference finals.
Right.
Right.
So the Denver Nuggets, they had Carmelo Anthony, and then they had a bunch of just random
They
NBA
had Chauncey
dudes.
Billups, they had J.R. Smith.
Chauncey Billups,
Right.
J.R.
They had
Smith,
Birdman on that team.
yep, Chris Anderson, Kenyon Martin, um, Wilson Chandler. It was just a bunch of random NBA guys who have been on a whole bunch of teams and whatever. And it was back right when that was kind of right after when everybody started getting tattoos. Like if you watch a highlights of an NBA game from like 2004, it's not like it is now. They don't have as many guys.
There were still. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like in the late night. Well, after Jordan. I mean, the end of Jordan's. Before he retired the second time, it was starting to get that way because it was a little more hip hop influence in the NBA.
Right, the
And
Allen
then
Iverson generation.
2000s, it's kind of escalated more and more, and then it became it's like guys have just tattoos just like all. I mean, again, this kind of mirrors society, by the way, because there's
Right.
people walking around with tattoos all up and down their arms and whatever else.
Right. Which, hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying it changed. It was different.
Yeah. Definitely was.
So we came up with a rule, and there always. I think there was a general rule in sports. You can have one guy who's kind of off the rails, a Ron Artest, Dennis Rodman type character, but you can't have two, because once you have two, well, then they hang out together, they cause trouble.
We were like, if you got more than one guy, or what was it, one guy or two guys with two guys with neck tattoos on your team, you're probably not going to win the championship.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the way it is, and I think it's probably gone by the wayside now, like based on the way things are now. I mean, I haven't checked.
It's tough it'd be tough. Like I was trying to think of this. So like when the Heat won their first the franchise's second title, but the first with LeBron,
right?
They had Birdman, who was also on the Nuggets. I mean, he's got his neck is just all like. Which first of all, I can't imagine how freaking painful that is. But anyway, they had him, but I think that was kind of it. I think they had LeBron's got a bunch of tattoos, but LeBron doesn't have neck tattoos,
right?
So they were right. And I was trying to think of other examples. I mean, that may have kind of fallen by the wayside, but not too. Like you'd be surprised. I mean, because remember, getting tattoos on your arms is one thing. On your arms, your back, your chest, even your legs.
Right.
The neck or the head is kind of I'm all in. I'm a tattoo guy. Like there's no, you can't wear. I mean, you can wear a turtleneck, I guess, but there's no coming back. Like for instance, like look, if you're gonna have a neck tattoo, basically you gotta limit yourself to certain professions. Professional athlete, professional musician, probably like heavy metal musician. Like James Hetfield's got a neck tattoo, and he's got a bunch of other tattoos, which is fine. He's a heavy metal. He's in Metallica. Who cares? But yeah, you kind of limit yourself. Like that's the thing. Like, I used to work at a place I used to work. A guy had tattoos like all down his arms and stuff, and he would always wear long sleeves. But then if you saw him out like outside of work, it's like, oh wow, he's got just because you can cover it up. The neck is a basically all in. Like for instance, like if you went to a tattoo shop and your first tattoo you wanted to get a neck tattoo, the artist would probably be like, whoa, hold on, are you sure? Because it's throwing all your chips in. There's no coming back.
It's a commitment. It is a commitment. You are engaged. You are putting on the ring at that point. Yeah. So we just watched this with this Denver Nuggets team, and they made the conference finals. Like they were good, and almost beat the Lakers. So so that's kind of our general rule. You have more than two guys with neck tattoos in the NBA. Yeah. You can't win the championship. And because in the NBA, you can have guys who ride the bench, like Udonis Haslem for the Heat. I mean, he just rides the bench. He doesn't actually play in any of the games, so you can get by with that. But more than two guys, it's a tough sell. Tough sell.
Yeah, because again, it's kind of like I don't like. I'll be honest. I don't think a neck tattoo is necessarily the best judgment. Like I kind of feel like everybody who does it later on in life kind of looks at themselves and goes, "Damn it, why did I do that?" Because look, you can get tattoos removed, but it's apparently extremely painful. Like you might be able to get one removed from your arm or something like that. But usually people don't like if they have a tattoo they don't like, they usually just get a tattoo over it. So yeah, again, it's an all-in thing, and it's kind of like, really, bro? Like really? Just on your, I mean, and it's even worse when you see people who get their heads tattooed. It's kind of like, all right, well, especially if they're bald, because then you don't even have hair you can grow over it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, it is. You're making a statement if you're doing that. That's all I'll say about that. But
just get a mohawk. Like you can at least let the rest of your hair grow back. Like I don't.
Yeah. So those two takes, those I thought were legendary. that things that I thought of.
Some other old ones that we had. I can't. I'm trying.
Yeah,
I was trying to think this week.
We'll dig a little bit more, see if we can find some. But yeah, those were fantastic. I couldn't get enough of that.
Remember, be careful about getting a neck tattoo.
That's
Think
right.
it through because
right.
you can't take it back.
Be careful. Yeah, neck tattoo. That's our message for this week. Don't be ridiculous.
Go for the arms. Go for the back, the chest,
Yep.
legs, calves. You know, stick to that area.
Don't be ridiculous with tattoos.
Are you in a heavy metal band? Okay. If not,
yeah, that's good. You know what, Clark? That could be a good segment.
Are you in a heavy metal band and you make a living being in a heavy metal band? Because if you're in a heavy metal band, like on the weekends, no. Okay, just hold off on the neck tattoo. Okay, just
questionnaire for the neck tattoo. That's what we should do. We should come up with some questions for people trying to get a neck tattoo.
Yeah.